I'm incredibly excited to hand over the first production cars from our incredible team here at Giga Berlin Brandenburg.
I think Tesla stock's about to have a big run, and Tesla stock can be a major leader here.
I'm sort of working on the master plan part 3, and it's huge. Yeah, it's going to be good. We're starting off with the Model Y, but we're going to do a number of exciting additional vehicles here. How many terawatt hours of battery can be produced per year? Our rough calculation is that it's about 300 terawatt hours is needed to transition the world to a sustainable energy economy. There's a lot of batteries, basically. So we want to try to do as much of that as possible. And I think we're actually doing a pretty good job. Like we're, growing by, 70-80% a year on average, and maybe even faster than that in the future.
In this video, Tesla stock moons as Giga Berlin awakens and first customer deliveries take place, plus Elon Musk drops some more juicy details about Tesla and some future products. So let's get into the video. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. First up, Tesla stock heading to the moon today, up over $70 per share, almost $1,000 per share once again. Put things in context here, Tesla stock up almost 23% in the last 5 trading days. Over the last month, very volatile, but since bottoming quite recently, Tesla up 30%. Still, year to date, Tesla stock down almost 20%. In my opinion, we've got a long way to go and the party is just getting started. Next up, I've cut together highlights of Elon Musk's customer handover speech, and I highly recommend if you're a Tesla stock investor in particular, you've got to listen to this. There are some bombshells, some great hints about Tesla's future. Following that, some highlights of the post-handover ceremony / party. Again, Elon Musk dropping some very big information, including the fact that Giga Berlin will produce many future Tesla products. Elon also drops a few new hints about Tesla's master plan part 3, and some information about just how much battery storage is required to transition the world to sustainable energy. So we'll run through those highlights first, then see what the mainstream media and the Tesla stock analysts have to say.
I'm incredibly excited to hand over the first production cars from our incredible team here at Giga Berlin Brandenburg. This is a great day for the factory, and I'd just like to thank everyone who helped. Thank you very much. Really made a very big difference. I mean, Tesla will make sure that this is a gemstone for the area, for Germany, for Europe, and for the world. Every vehicle that we make will be another step in the direction of a sustainable energy future. We will also make battery storage. We are extremely confident that the world can transition to a sustainable energy future with the combination of solar, wind, plus battery storage and electric vehicles. If you have those 3 legs of the stool, then you can create a sustainable energy future for as long as the sun shines and the wind blows. I really want to assure everyone that you can have hope in the future. You should have hope in the future. This problem will be solved, and this factory is a major step in that direction. So believe in the future. I think that's it.
Now, brace for impact. Elon Musk sharing some thoughts to the crowd after first customer deliveries, and there's plenty of new information here that Tesla investors will not want to miss.
Thank you for all your hard work which has led to this great day. It was amazing to see how excited the customers were to receive their cars, it was just super good vibes. I'm sort of working on the master plan part 3, and it's a huge, yeah, it's gonna be good. But a huge part of that is scaling to high volume. So in order for us to really affect the world in a positive way, because we get a lot of press, we get a lot of attention, but you say how many vehicles have we made as a percentage of total vehicles in the world? Because there's 2 billion vehicles in the world. Well, so far we've actually are well below 1%. We're not even 0.5%. So it's essential for us to really affect the future in a positive way. We have to make a lot of cars. That's the only way. We're starting off with the Model Y, but we're going to do a number of exciting additional vehicles here.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is what's known as a bombshell. A number, not one, not two, a number of new exciting vehicles. Let's play a little game in the comments. Let me know which vehicles you personally believe that Gigafactory Berlin will eventually produce. Now, here's a hint. This is an easy one, a bit of low-hanging fruit. Model 3, But what else? $25,000 Tesla eventually? Yep, sure. It's probably a European version, maybe a hatchback. They may even attempt to make, wait for it, a station wagon. The second ugliest thing on planet Earth. Can Tesla make a station wagon that doesn't look like a pile of excrement? Well, we might find out. For what it's worth, annual station wagon sales globally around 2.5 million units. Is it worth Tesla's while to actually produce their own version? Well, if they can capture maybe 20, 25, 30+% of the market, this definitely makes sense. They'd be selling as many, if not more, station wagons than they currently are Model 3s. Europe, Germany and Scandinavia in particular are massive outliers when it comes to these disgusting but utilitarian vehicles. Station wagon volumes back in 2002 in Germany accounting for 21% of the entire automotive market, and Scandinavia over 30%. Popularity is declining over time, however, still a not insignificant portion of the market. Should a Tesla station wagon be a high priority? Abso-fucking-lutely not. But eventually, probably going to happen. What else might Tesla produce at the Berlin factory? Leave your guesses in the comments below.
We're starting off with the Model Y, but we're going to do a number of exciting additional vehicles here. The challenge we have right now, it's a high-class problem, but the orders we have are well in excess of our production. So sometimes people will say, why aren't you in all these other markets? And why don't you make all these other different versions of the product, like different cars? Like, where's the Tesla semi-truck and the Cybertruck and the Roadster and other things? The challenge we have, it's a good challenge, is that our orders far exceed our production. So, a high-class problem. But we need to have our production get to the point where it exceeds our current orders, and then it makes sense to expand to additional markets and to have additional products. Because if we add complexity, but we don't add volume and we don't add production volume, then we've not actually done anything more, because the good is a function of how many vehicles we're able to make. So as we are able to ramp up production and satisfy demand in our existing markets, then we will expand to other markets, and we will also add additional products. How many terawatt hours of battery can be produced per year? Our rough calculation is that it's about 300 terawatt hours is needed to transition the world to a sustainable energy economy. There's a lot of batteries, basically. So we want to try to do as much of that as possible.
Hold up. He did just say what I think he said, right? Elon did just say that the world will need 300 terawatt hours of batteries to transition, and then said we'll try to make as many of those as we can. Spoiler alert, Master Plan Part 3, Tesla, extreme scale. Next minute Elon's talking in extreme scales, 300 terawatt hours. We'll try to make as much of that as possible. If you can't connect the dots and read between the lines, my condolences.
Our rough calculation is that it's about 300 terawatt hours is needed to transition the world to a sustainable energy economy. There's a lot of batteries, basically. So we want to try to do as much of that as possible. And I think we're actually doing a pretty good job. Like, we're growing by, 70, 80% a year on average, and maybe even faster than that in the future.
What did you just say, Elon?
And I think we're actually doing a pretty good job. Like, we're growing by, 70, 80% a year on average, and maybe even faster than that in the future.
He did just say that. Elon Musk is not one to just throw out random numbers, pull things out of his ass. If he's sharing a number, potential growth rate for Tesla in the future of over 70 to 80%, it's because Elon has sat down, run the numbers in his mind, thought about increasing production rates, how many factories, this, that, and the other, and he's concluded that it is absolutely a possibility if Tesla executes that they could be growing in excess of 70 to 80% per annum in the future. This is nuts. Let me show you just how nuts with some really rough numbers. This isn't a prediction, I want to be super clear, just trying to make a point here about the power of these insane numbers of potential growth. Tesla did approximately $50 billion in revenue from automotive sales last year. We're going to use really rough numbers. Just hypothetically, let's just see what happens. Let's say we use a growth rate of 80%. Now be warned, this number will be ridiculous, and again, I'm not making a prediction, but let's just see what would happen if this increased by 80% every year over a decade. Are you ready? We'll count out each year. Year 1, 2, we're already at $162 billion. Year 3, year 4, $500 billion. Year 5, almost $1 trillion. 5 years at 80%, almost $1 trillion. Year 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Wow, a mere $17.8 trillion of revenue in a decade's time. Again, this isn't a prediction, just making a point. An 80% plus rate of annual growth for a company already at an enormous scale is bonkers. And yet here's Elon Musk, obviously having thought about it and believing this is a realistic probability. And one final super interesting comment from Elon Musk, somebody in the crowd asking, hey, best case scenario, how many new gigafactories over the next 10 years?
Well, best case scenario, I suppose 10?
Interesting. Now let's head over to the mainstream finance media to hear what the stock analysts and the talking heads have to say. First up, everyone's favorite ex-cokehead, allegedly.
Okay, so today's a very big day. We got the ribbon cutting in Berlin for the Gigafactory for Tesla. I think Tesla stock's about to have a big run.
Now, we all know making short-term predictions about a stock price is fraught with danger. That being said, I won't be surprised if Jim Cramer's off-the-cuff comment turns out to be on the money. Per my Tesla price targets, even in my bear case, I personally believe that Tesla has a very, very long way to go this year. For those who don't have access to my price targets, you can find them on Patreon, check the card in the corner, or the link at the pinned comment. All members get access to the price targets. Point being, Tesla stock is currently here, and I personally believe it should be here. If the stock market figures this out, of course, that means I would have to be right. Maybe I'm wrong. The gap is likely to close. And it's a very, very substantial gap. I was just about to make a very inappropriate joke about a substantial gap, but instead, let's just move on.
And Tesla stock could be a major leader here. And one of the reasons I think is that, an often oft-guessed Dan Ives is saying, in a nutshell, we believe by the end of 2022, Tesla will now have the capacity run rate for overall 2 million units. And they also seem to have the supply chain problems figured out a lot better than everybody else. And then they talk about de-risking China, that China's no longer as important, which is obviously major because China's so convoluted. But I just think this is right in the wheelhouse of the country that is known as the capital. Now, I used to be Detroit, and I still love Detroit, but you're going up against BMW and Benz. And, Musk just laughs at everyone. He's contemptuous of everyone other than Musk. I like that.
It is amazing that even though Giga Berlin's been in the works for so long, its debut is coinciding with the time where the EU is like, we got to get off oil.
Yes.
Period.
And by the way, everything seemed to me to be a hoax that was against him. The forests, the Schwarzwald. I mean, come on, give me a break. I mean, there were just interests in Germany that didn't want this, but you're right.
Definitely a very big possibility. For those of you who didn't quite follow, Cramer there suggesting, saying without saying, that there was some interest in Germany who certainly wouldn't necessarily benefit from Tesla's factory opening, who may somehow behind the scenes have been able to slow down progress. And we all know the pace that this project moved. By German standards, fast. By global standards, embarrassingly slow.
Look, I think we should feel proud that Tesla has gone right to the capital and said, you know what, Bavarian Motor Works, take this. People want Teslas. They're not buying your electric cars.
Right.
And that's a very, very good call.
As far as Tesla goes, is this a situation where it is sort of zero-sum, or does a better Tesla availability, production, flywheel lead to better awareness of EVs, which means good things for GM?
I think it could be both. I mean, they're taking share, and more people are going to love it, and I think that it's selling well in China. Look, he's got the best. I mean, it's like I remember when Henry Ford had the Model T and the Model A. I mean, he had the market share was extraordinary. I mean, by the way, everybody's got electric cars, but he sells electric cars.
Right.
Savagely accurate.
The others are kind of concept companies.
Although I think that Ford, we're going to discover, is sold out.
Yeah.
We're going to discover that Ford is sold out, but Ford can't make them, and everyone needs lithium. And oh my, I mean, this is just a moment where we had a note today about the cutting of the production of the autos because they can't make them. We still don't have the right semiconductors. It is just very bearish out there, except for Tesla, which can really give Tesla could be up 100 points without problem.
Certainly wouldn't surprise me to see Tesla stock up 100 points. Now, on to one of the more well-informed analysts covering Tesla stock.
Jed, with Tesla up 8% right now, talk about the financial implications. Does it hurt? Does it drag on profitability in the near term? How are you looking at this new Gigafactory?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me, Sarah. So let's just take a step back for a second. I'm down here in Houston at this power electronics conference, so the guts that go into these Teslas. And I'm doing this interview on an iPhone. And when I focused on the cell phones, most pundits said, never imagined that I'd be able to do what I'm doing today with you here on an iPhone back in 2002. And so I think the context... Thank you very much. So I think the context of what Tesla is doing is we have to look at it through the eyes of a manufacturing juggernaut that we have not seen since Henry Ford with assembly lines change and created the automotive industry that we know today.
This is a brilliant point from Jed, and one most stock investors do not understand. Tesla is single-handedly, and I hate to say this, but it's just the fucking facts, they are single-handedly building out the electric vehicle industry today. They're the company at the absolute forefront, the innovations in technology, in manufacturing techniques. Tesla is driving the industry forward. Tesla is inventing new ways of doing things. Tesla is figuring out how to drive costs down on literally everything that matters. And I mean everything that matters. Tesla is the leader, and everyone else is following from a great distance. The game plan for every electric vehicle manufacturer should be copy Tesla as fast as possible. Problem is, unless you can move at least as fast as Tesla is moving forward, you're never going to catch up, and spoiler alert, you're never going to be able to move that fast. So, I don't know, just give up.
And so when we look at Austin and we look at, which is going to be coming online in a couple of weeks, when we look at Berlin, which is going to double their manufacturing, and we look at electrification as a bigger trend and the value that that brings to the market, I can't help but think that these are all positives with respect to Tesla. And it also reduces the geopolitical risk that we're now seeing increased tensions from Russia, Ukraine, and China as well.
Because what they were using the Shanghai factory and shipping cars from China to Europe. Now they could theoretically now just supply them the European demand from the European factories. What sort of opportunity does that represent?
Well, two things. You're exactly right. So first, over 50% of the cars that they're producing now are coming from Shanghai. So you're going to reduce the dependence on China as that central low-cost hub for where you're shipping. Two, imagine all the embodied energy that's actually attached to floating these cars on a ship all around the world and being able to regionalize and with local manufacturing. And lastly, these are going to be cars that are moving to the 4680. And a lot of people don't understand this. That's just the size of the battery. But it's really important because, in our view, it creates an Apple-esque type strategy here, which opens up other markets, namely the markets that they haven't been doing much in, which is energy storage and battery backup. We haven't seen much, but they've said that they've been supply constrained on the 2170s. And so this opens that market up for them. And we think that's going to be an area of growth to augment the automotive growth that they're going to be more than doubling.
That's what I was going to ask about, because all of the EV companies now, Jed, are supply constrained, are they not, with the price of the materials that go into batteries spiking and a lot of them stuck in Russia and Ukraine? Elon Musk has complained about this on Twitter. Where does Tesla stand relative to other EV competitors when it comes to dealing with these issues and potentially raising prices?
Yeah, so Tesla's raised prices across the board. They're not going to be immune from the supply chain challenges. I don't think any companies are going to be immune. You're going to see that flow through. However, one of the things that Tesla's done really well is they've looked at a system design, which other companies are starting to do, but Tesla's way out in front of the pack. So, for example, using silicon carbide for their inverter to get more out of the electrons that are going into the batteries, which allows you to get to a smaller battery pack or to reduce the amount of copper to lightweight the vehicle. Those are going to be things that are going to become more important. That's why I'm at this conference down here in Houston, listening to these semiconductor companies talking about what the plans are actually going to be. So I think near term, Tesla is not going to be immune to the supply chain challenges. We think that's going to create opportunities with the volatility to buy on pullbacks. But I think when we look longer term, it's clear to us that the trend towards electrification, which includes transportation as well as decentralized electrification on the generation for solar and battery backup, are clear winners in terms of a much larger trend.
So you're buying on the dips. Tesla's still down about 6% for the year. It's 20% off the highs, but it is surging right now and had a good month or so here.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this market, we have a buy, we have a $1,200 price target, but recognize it's like the pilot coming on the flight saying there's going to be turbulence. There's going to be a lot of choppiness. Our macro strategist, Tony Dwyer, has talked about that and actually has been proficient in calling a lot of these trends. We do think that things are going to be bumpy, but we would be buyers on pullback because this is where the puck's going to be going.
Jed making plenty of sense there, although I personally think the $1,200 price target will not age well. Let's check back later in 2022 and find out. So, huge day for Tesla stock investors. First customer deliveries in Berlin, new factory that eventually will be pumping out well in excess of 1, maybe 2+ million vehicles per year over the long term. Stage 1, we know already at least 500,000 vehicles, and that is just stage 1. Tesla stock heading to the moon today. By the way, as I mentioned, still believe it is the bargain of the century, hence still buying with every spare cent. And both analysts and talking heads in the mainstream finance media really starting to recognize that Tesla has an incredible advantage and isn't being affected nearly as much in terms of supply chain shortages and challenges as every other automotive company on the planet. And out of interest, let me know if anyone's watching in Europe who plans to purchase a made in Berlin Tesla Model Y. And lastly, don't forget to join Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. Gain instant access to my Tesla stock price targets all the way out until 2031. As I mentioned, there is a huge gap from where we are today, even to my bear case price target for 2022. I could be wrong, but if I'm not, don't say I didn't warn you. You'll also gain instant access to over 100 exclusive Q&A videos and loads of other perks as well. So, see you over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.